EducateMe started in 2010, initially as a fundraiser to put kids, to reinstate kids back into school. Eventually, after starting to work with these kids and meeting them, we realized that they weren't really learning anything in school and that the public schooling system was insufficient. So we started working with them on a part-time basis. And over the years, this program has developed. And just recently, after researching and studying the impact we've been doing, we realized that to really make a bigger impact, we had to work with these kids on a full-time basis. And that's where our programs that are currently intact were born, which is the preschool and the community school.
I'm the founder, and again, the very initial spark was a man I met on the street in Cairo, and the man asked me for money because he wanted to send his kids to school, but he couldn't afford it. So I took the guy, went to the school, and when I realized he was telling the truth, I decided to finance his family, and then got the idea of making it a big broader. So trying to find more people like the guy who had the need and more people who can afford it. And this is kind of the very beginning, and then two more co-founders came on board, and that's when we started legalizing EducateMe into a nonprofit and also seeing how we can benefit the kids beyond financial contribution. The biggest couple of challenges we face here in EducateMe, one of them is the ecosystem that we operate in. So working in education and working in the nonprofit sector in Egypt are very challenged. There is a lot of legal procedures that we have to go through, and these procedures are not always very obvious or evident. So sometimes it takes us much longer to get through situations or procedures, and accordingly it affects our work. The second thing is that our vision is very different. So when we talk about education, people automatically think about reading and writing and getting a certificate. But we believe that education is much beyond that. We believe that education is about getting individuals to be accountable to their self-actualization, giving them the knowledge, skills, and values that makes them capable of knowing who they are, what they want, and being constantly able to take decisions to maximize their potential. So when we talk about education and when this is our vision and our curriculum needs to reflect that, sometimes society at large still struggles with the concept. They still think it's very simple, or they still don't understand why it's important, for instance, to develop critical thinking. Why don't we just get kids through the system like we were taught or our parents were taught? And they don't understand how the knowledge age that we're in and the 21st century that we're in needs a different kind of education and different kinds of skills, so that when these children graduate from school or from university, they're actually ready to cope with society. So I knew about Rise Egypt from being part of the winners from the NIGMA competition. So NIGMA was a competition that was being launched in MIT, and EducateMe was one of the winners in 2013. The first accelerator program, which was a reward for the NIGMA participants, was actually carried out by Rise. So I attended the first accelerator, which was in Boston and DC. We had a lot of benefit from it, and so when Rise opened up the formal application, we decided to apply.
The Rise experience so far has been great, and mainly I think it's been a huge opportunity to meet people and meet experts in networking and see what else is being done out there in Egypt with other organizations and getting to work with them. And I think you really learn a lot through this experience, whether it's through the advisors or the mentors, or through one of the founder, and even through the other organizations, because they're all other social startups in the end.
So I've been today to visit the community school that EducateMe has started here just this year, and I think what they're doing is a very important contribution to Egypt's overall development. One of the main challenges facing Egypt is the problems in the education system. The education system performs very poorly. Children go through education not learning very much. They're failed by the education system. And the failure of the education system fails the whole country, because children don't go on to become fully productive adults realizing their potential. What the EducateMe is trying to do is to reorient the learning system away from the traditional rote learning system that prevails in government schools, to a system in which the child takes control of their own education and is really encouraged to learn and to develop a whole set of values that will make them far more productive and useful citizens that lead much more fulfilled lives as a result.
I would encourage Egyptians abroad to try and be more connected to Egypt, try to explore what's going on the ground, away from what happens in media or away from what happens on social networks, because reality in Egypt on the ground is both more challenging and also more compelling. So I would encourage them to find different ways to engage, find different ways to be informed, find different ways to be part of the change and part of the movement that is going on.